I opened my eyes, and the sky was no longer blue. It shimmered with soft hues of violet and silver, alive with the pulse of distant orbiting cities. I had heard stories of the old Earth, of trees that grew wild and oceans that stretched endlessly. But to me, nature was a symphony of bioengineered gardens suspended between glass towers, a memory rebuilt by design, not by time. I remember standing at the edge of a transport dock, feeling the familiar hum of the magnetic streams beneath my feet, the sensation almost like the earth breathing with me. We don't travel on roads anymore. We flow. One thought, one flicker of intent, and the currents of the city respond, lifting you toward your destination. There are no cars, no traffic, no noise, just the soft whisper of air folding around you. When I was a child, at least by what we still call childhood, even though we're biologically enhanced to mature faster, I would stare into the learning pools for hours. They're not books or screens. They're living memories, entire knowledge networks you dive into, absorbing history, science, art, in minutes rather than years. I still remember the first time I saw a recording of 21st century humans, how slow, how fragile, how heartbreakingly beautiful they were, bound by time in ways we barely comprehend now. And yet, with all our advancements, the ache for meaning hasn't left us. We've transcended disease, merged with quantum intelligence, colonized new worlds, even reversed aspects of death itself, uploading consciousness into luminous data fields that stretch beyond planets. But inside, a piece of me still hungers for the simple touch of another hand, for laughter uncalculated, for the chaotic, imperfect pulse of what it meant to be human before we were gods. I walk past beings who are more machine than flesh, yet they smile with eyes that feel real. I sit with elders who look no older than me, but who remember Earth as it once was, before the second Exodus, before the sundering of nations. They speak of a time when emotions ruled choices, when people fell in love without algorithms predicting it 5 years in advance. Some call those days primitive. I call them brave. Our bodies have become canvases for endless modification. Skin that shimmers under different suns, eyes that can see in wavelengths once invisible, minds that share thoughts without words. And yet I find myself retreating sometimes, switching off the neural links just to hear the sound of my own heart beating alone. I wonder if this is what progress was always meant to feel like, a blend of awe and nostalgia, a triumph laced with longing. We've conquered scarcity, eliminated poverty, ended wars not by treaties, but by designing empathy into our very neurology, and yet no amount of optimization can recreate the wild, furious beauty of a spontaneous human mistake, the kind that births revolutions, songs, and love stories that outlive even their creators. Today, I board a vessel bound for Proxima b, a second home among the stars. I'll sleep in a dream state, my consciousness linked to billions of others who have made the same choice, to wander, to hope, to begin again. I close my eyes, and for a moment I let myself feel fear. Not fear of dying. We've tamed death into a doorway now. No, it's the fear of forgetting, of becoming so evolved, so perfect, that we lose the trembling soul that once dared to reach for fire in the dark. I smile, because maybe that's the greatest human trait of all, the endless desire to chase what lies just beyond the edge of knowing. 1,000 years have passed, and still we reach. The sky is a hollow place now, an endless stretch of carbon veils and satellite scars. I stand here, where once oceans roared and forests whispered, but the ground beneath my feet is synthetic, engineered to mimic the sensation of Earth long gone. They told us this would be paradise. I wonder, as I feel the programmed warmth of the ground, if they truly understood what paradise was. We don't speak much anymore. Language has become too slow. Our minds are stitched together in a lattice of pure thought, buzzing and restless, and yet so empty. In the quiet moments, those rare trembling gaps between information bursts, I find myself searching the faces around me, hoping to find a flicker of something real. A smile not calculated by dopamine algorithms. a tear not designed for catharsis. I remember stories from the learning vaults about laughter, not the shallow simulations that echo through the neural net, but wild, reckless laughter, the kind that makes your chest ache and your soul lighter. Here, in this world of engineered bliss, laughter is a chemical switch pressed and forgotten. We have outsmarted sadness, and with it, every raw edge that made us human. We have perfected the body, disease, hunger, aging, all archived relics of a brutal past. Our organs renew themselves. Our skin adapts to radiation storms. Our blood carries nanomachines that stitch and heal faster than pain can register. But our hearts, no machine has found a way to make the heart dream as it once did. I walk through corridors of living metal, cities grown like coral reefs in orbit around dead planets. Everywhere there is beauty, precision, brilliance. And nowhere is there the mess, the chaos, the untamed wonder that once breathed life into dust and called it sacred. I sometimes visit the memory fields where the last true forests are preserved inside biodomes. The air smells of things I can't name. I sit beneath towering trees whose roots remember a time before we outgrew our need for gods, myths, and love stories. I close my eyes and imagine what it must have been like. To fear, to fail, to fall in love without knowing the outcome. Soon I will ascend. That's what they call it. Uploading consciousness into the eternal mind, where individuality dissolves into collective perfection. It's the highest honor. It's the only future left. But tonight, standing here beneath the artificial stars, I feel a rebellion in my chest. A yearning so ancient it aches. I wonder if I am the last human, not by blood or by body, but by spirit, the last to mourn, to question, to want in a world that demands nothing but acceptance. 1,000 years from the age of dreams, and still I dream. I woke to a world wrapped in gold. The sun, reborn through stellar engineering, bathed the earth in soft, nourishing light, and the fields beyond the city shimmered with life untouched by hunger, untouched by sorrow. I stepped outside barefoot, feeling the rich soil between my toes, a luxury my ancestors could only have dreamed of 1,000 years ago. Every breath tasted of clean rain and blooming citrus. The air itself was alive, woven with microorganisms that healed, strengthened, and sang to the cells of my body. Around me, towering cities of crystal and living vines spiraled toward the heavens, homes and gardens inseparable from the earth that birthed them. No concrete, no coldness, only structures that grew, adapted, breathed with us. Children raced past, their laughter pure and fierce, their minds already dancing with the mysteries of the universe. We no longer learned through repetition or fear, but through wonder. Knowledge came as naturally as breathing. The stars were no longer distant fires in the sky. They were milestones, signposts of how far we had already traveled, how much farther we could still go. And yet, despite all the miracles we had built, cures for every sickness, energy drawn from the very fabric of space-time, lives that stretched for centuries, it was the small things that felt like the greatest triumphs. A stranger's smile on a winding path, a melody woven from the winds and the rivers, a hand offered not because it was needed, but because it was wanted. War was a memory now, a sorrow we honored but never wished to relive. We had learned painfully and slowly that survival was not enough. Evolution was not only about strength or intelligence, it was about compassion, about the courage to hold someone else's pain and not look away. Sometimes, when the cities slept and the stars sang low over the fields, I would lie awake and listen. I would listen for the heartbeat of humanity, the old fears, the old hopes, all still pulsing quietly beneath the surface of this perfect new world. We had not erased our history. We had embraced it, cradled it, woven it into the tapestry of who we had become. 1,000 years ago, humanity stood trembling on the brink of extinction, blind and broken and beautiful. And now we are more alive than ever, gardeners of worlds, dreamers without end. I close my eyes and I smile, because no matter how far we roam, no matter how much we change, the truest part of us, the part that dares to love, to hope, to reach for something greater, has never been lost. It has only just begun.